Welcome to Microlabs. Today's topic is to configure and verify IPv4 addresses. Let's get started. Here we have task number 1. Wants us to configure the router's name, hostname R1. Let's get started. Go to the CLI. First thing first, we have to enable it. We're in privilege mode. We have to go in config mode, config terminal, and then we have to give the name hostname R1. By verifying it, by looking at down here, left corner, you'll see the name is changed to R1. Before it was router 1. Okay, so that is task 1. Let's move on to task 2. Task 2 says, use a show command to view a list of R1's interfaces, their IP interfaces, status, etc. Okay, so the show command for this is to verify the IP addresses, IP on the router. Since we're in config mode, you can just enter the command do show IP in interface brief. Let me expand this. So remember, if you're in config mode, you have to enter do in front of it in order for this command to work. Okay, so gigabit Ethernet 0/0 to 0/2 are unassigned addresses and they are administratively down. Status, protocol, both are down. Okay, so that was our task, is to see what's on the interface of the router 1. So let's go to task number 3. Here, number 3, it says, configure the appropriate IP addresses on R1's interfaces and enable the interfaces. Configure appropriate interface descriptions. Okay, let's do first. First thing is to configure the appropriate IP addresses on the router's interfaces. Okay, so we got gigabit 0/0, gigabit 0/1, gigabit 0/2. So we're going to start with gigabit 0/0. Let's start with that and work our way around. Okay, so first thing first, I would like to start off by going to the config mode, configure terminal, and then you have to say interface gigabit 0/0. Enter. Now we have to add the address, which is 15.255.255.254. And then the subnet mask of class A, which is 255.0.0.0. Enter. And then the description. Since the G00 is pointing towards switch 1, so our description here would be description link to, I like to put a bracket on and put switch 1 and then close the bracket. That's just the way I do my description. You can do either way, just so you can remember when you go back on here and you can see they can stand out to you. Okay, so that's my description right there. Switch link to switch 1. Enter. And now we have to enable the interface, turning it on by issuing the command no shut down. Enter. Oops, wrong spell. So no shut down. You gotta watch your spelling. If you spell it wrong, it'll tell you. So there it is. Change. It's changing the state to up. That's what we just did to interface G00. Okay. So now let's move on to G01. Okay, I like to end this guy, come back into config terminal, and then interface Ethernet. No, that's gigabit Ethernet 0/1. Then IP address of 192.98.255.254. And the subnet mask here looks like it's a class B, which is 255.255.255. Oops, no, that's class C. O.O. That's class B. Okay, enter. So now it's our description. So it's G01. This one is linked to switch 2. So in our description should say what? Should say description link to. I like to put my bracket up and I say switch 2 and then close my bracket. That's it. And then issue the no shutdown command. No shut, or you can just say no shut. I usually say no shutdown, but I'll prove that this works as well. No shut, and watch it go up. Now it's changing the state to up. Okay. So now we are moving to interface G02. So I would like to end this guy and come back to config mode. So let's say interface gigabit 0/2 IP address of 201.191.20.254. And the subnet mask for this is class C, so it's 255.255.255.0. That's a class C subnet mask. And then we enter. And the description is, I don't know if you can see here, let me pull this down. It's the link G02 is connected to switch 3. So our description here should say description link to open bracket switch 3 close. And that's my description. And I'll issue the command no shutdown. No shutdown. Now it's changing the state to up now. Okay, let's see here. So that was our task number 3. We configure the appropriate IP addresses. We enable the interface by issuing the command no shutdown, and we configure an appropriate interface descriptions to all the interfaces. Okay, so that's what we did. So now in task number 4, it says use a show command to verify R1's interface again. All right, I don't know if you remember, but we did the show command in the beginning, and all the interfaces where there was no address, and they were all down. So we're going to do the same thing to see what it looks like right now after our configuration. So this is to verify. So we're in the config mode. Maybe we can issue the, oh no, let's just exit from here, exit. Say do show IP interface brief. Let me expand this. Okay, so in the beginning, if you remember, I showed the interfaces where no IP addresses. Now, as you can see, we did configure G0/1 to 0/2. We assign the IP addresses on them. And as you can see, the status and the protocol, they're both on up and up. Okay. Now let's move along. That was task number 4. So task number 5 says view running config to confirm the configuration changes, then save the config. Okay. So this just wants to make sure that the configurations are up and running and good. So just to verify. So I'm going to go end. I'm going to say show running config. Okay, so let's keep pressing enter as we scroll down to see what's running. Spanning tree mode, PVST. Okay, interface G00, G01, G02. The descriptions, the addresses, and the speed and duplex auto, speed auto, they're all the same. They should be the same in order for these duplex auto, speed auto. So to me, let's keep going down. It looks really good. Everything by verification, it looks good to me. So it wants us to save it. To save it, you could say copy. Oops. Copy running config, copy startup config. Or you can say write memory, or write, or WR. That's, you can't use W, it won't work. So the most you can do is WR, press enter, it'll copy the memory. Or write, it'll copy the memory. Or write memory, you just, write the memory, it'll copy. Or the exam version, we just copy running config, copy startup config. So to test the theory, to test it is correct, not theory, but the fact that it works. Or WR, enter, now it's copying, so we're good. All right, let's move on. Okay, that was task number 5. We configure and we save the config. So number 6, here it says configure the IP addresses of PC1, PC2, and PC3. So let's start with PC1. Okay, that's the default gateway. The default gateway is the address of the router. As you can see, there's the gateway router, the default gateway. But we're going to issue the IP address of 15.0.0.1. which is the PC's IP address. Enter, and it gives us a class A subnet mask 255.0.0.0. So that's done with. Let's move on to PC2. So the default gateway there is 182. Let me scroll down here so you can see. As you can see, that's the default gateway of the interface of 182.168.255.254 of the router. So we go to Fast Ethernet and we go issue the address for the PC, which is 182.98.1. And then it's got a class B subnet mask of 255.255.0.0. Okay, that looks good. Whoops, wrong way. Minimize that. Okay, PC3. Default gateway of PC3, as you can see, it's up there, 201.191.20.254. That's correct. So we go to Fast Ethernet and enter the address of the PC, which is 201.191.20.1. Enter, and it gives us a Class C subnet mask of 255.255.255.0. So everything looks good here. Now let's say ping from PC1 to PC2 and PC3 to test the connectivity. Okay, that's what it wants us to do. So let's see here. I'm going to bring this guy over here so we can ping it. So we can see, I'm going to try to run it in simulation mode so we can see the ping run through the network. See how it flows, okay? So we go to desktop and we're pinging PC2. So ping 182.98.0.1. Okay, it's pinging. Let's see it in simulation mode. Okay, let's see it. Actually, it's not working. Let's just ping it in real life. Okay. It's ping. It looks like it did went through. Yep. So pinging PC2 works. Now let's ping PC3. Ping. Take out the address and input the PC3 address is 201.191.20.0. 20.1. I mean, pinging. There it is. We got a reply. So to wrap up what we did today, we configure R1's host name to R1, which we did. Task number 2, we issued a command to show the interfaces. We did and configure it. And number 3, we configure the appropriate addresses on R1 interfaces. We enable by issuing the no shutdown command, and we configure appropriate descriptions on the interfaces. And we verify by issuing the command IP interfaces. And we verify the running config, and we save the running config. And we configure the IP addresses on PC1 to PC2 and PC3. And we ping from PC1 to PC2, PC3, and we test the connectivity, and it all worked. We are done with the lab. That is all for now. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next micro lab. Okay?